Hey y'all, how you doing? It's Donnie, Sinbad the Sailor Man, with poetry, rights, and other stuff from Sinbad the Sailor Man. Coming at you with number 73, I do believe this is where I'm at. Let me check real quick. Got some notes here. I forget things easy, so let me see. Today is October 6th. This would be number 74, TA Video Challenge, 100 videos in 100 days. And I'll talk a little bit about synergy tonight. And what is synergy? Synergy is the increased effectiveness that results when two or more people or businesses work together. And then there's synergism. Broadly, the number one there is combined action or operation. And number two is a mutual advantageous conjunction or capability of distinct business participants or elements, as in resources and efforts. The origin of synergy, the New Latin synergia, from the Greek synergos, working together. Okay, now when you start getting prospects, you're going to want to know that you got the right people for the right message that you are handing out. And I'm going into synergy here because I'm going to start talking about your mind here in a minute. And we got an old quote for the Bible here is, "Am I my brother's keeper? Am I my brother's keeper?" Three minds. You got three minds, and they got different devices that they do. Your mind is a recording device from the time it starts to be developed inside the mother's womb. It records everything. All the five senses: touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing. Okay, then the mind is also a constructive mind. It is a personal construction device which draws conclusions, and it's a categorical mind which sorts, plans, and what else did I put there? It's a sorting device, yep. And remember that your mind is always working. You can't shut it off. With great practice, you can shut it down, slow it down, and cause different processes to stop, just like a computer. It is an organic computer. It runs from the day it first kicks in to the day you die. It never shuts off. It's always working. It runs systems behind systems, just like the computer here. We see the windows open, but there's stuff running behind. Your mind does the same thing. Being honest with others is not always easy for the mind. Okay, because it's learned a lot of lies and a lot of falsehoods. And as we get to the brass tacks, the truth hurts. There are people who are brutally honest, and they don't mean to be mean or not, but they're trying to be honest. But the truth hurts. When we try to control our free-willing mind, it is kind of hard for us, because the mind that's free and willing all the time has momentum. It takes a while to slow it down. Some people can do this with meditation and breathing exercises. Some people can't control their mind. Like I have a problem with my mind running all three processes at the same time, and it's a little hard for me at times. It's a learning disability or a blessing or a cursing. I have never made up my mind there. But the mind records everything: images, taste, touch, smells, sounds, emotions. It never shuts down. Free will plays into the construction or the constructs of your mind, that part, because it is choosing and believing and deciding. Okay, now your categorical mind is always thinking in a straight line and planning things. Like I've said before, your mind has a hard time depicting fact from fiction. You'll see this in a lot of young kids when they see monster movies or different challenges of things. My young son used to believe that he could fit into a cake pan and I could pop him into the oven. And this is when he was almost 7 years old. He was too big to stuff into the oven. But he had the belief that I could put him into the cake pan and stick him into the oven. Some people have a childlike faith and understanding, and that is a gift too, or a cursing. It all depends. But the mind is a real tricky thing. When you ID your prospects, you got to ask them and yourself if you're the right people for each other. That's where we get into our "Am I my brother's keeper?" Okay? Because now we're getting back into personalities, and you're going to have to ask certain questions where you can figure out what their desire is, what their level of interest really is, how committed they are, what level of awareness do they actually have. Remember, the mind is always drawing conclusions. It notices things more than it thinks of things. It distinguishes between, and it is constantly aware of all 5 levels of your senses. So some people have like a sixth sense. This is when everything is processed in time at the snap there. So this is like a sixth sense. Their mind is so aware that it comes up with the conclusions and draws the kind of, what is that word? Categorical sorts. After it's gone through all the sorting, it comes up with a conclusion or a construct. It's decided one thing or another. And you have to be aware if you are actually thinking that or if the mind is noticing that. They're not always true. The situations that the mind comes up with is not always true. The mind can be fooled. The senses can be fooled. So you're never supposed to judge your prospects, because you won't know for a period of time. Don't pick up the phone and draw a conclusion from the get-go. Alright? So, you want to try to create synergy, and you want to create awareness with your mind of different things, people, personalities, especially when you start building teams. Synergy is going to be a good and needed thing. You're going to have to be able to work together as one. You're going to have to pick out people and their personalities. Some personalities are not going to click with you, and you're going to have to learn to delegate them to other people that they can work with. Like your analyticals aren't going to work too well with your expressives. Your drivers aren't going to work too well with your expressives. And your amiables despise the expressive. But everybody loves the expressive. So we got to remember that we're not just a one personality being. Most of us will have 3, 4 personality traits. We'll have a stronger one, and some of us will have what we call duality with the opposite. Like I'm an amiable. I don't like to hurt people's feelings. I will lie to you about not hurting your feelings. I won't lie to you about different things. But when it comes to hurting your feelings and bringing up drama, I will lie to you. Amiables will lie about that stuff because they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to handle drama, and they don't want to be involved with interpersonal feelings. It's not that they don't feel, it's just that they can't, because it hurts them to see others hurt, so they avoid it. Now, drivers are usually an amiable's opposite. Okay, they'll have a driver part in them, or sometimes they don't very rarely have expressives as their duality. Maybe an analytical, but often it is the driver. And analytical will usually have a driver. They like the driver, but they don't like to deal with the driver. And the driver is a person that got to have things done his way, and right now, all costs, doesn't matter how it gets done, it just needs to get done. Expressives are the ones that are full of energy and excitement, and they're the cheerleaders of the groups. And your analyticals are the ones that got to have the I's and the T's crossed, I's dotted and the T's crossed, and they got to know all the different procedures, and they got to know that it's being done right, and you can't fool them because they already know all the things, how they work and how they align and which way they're going to go. Okay, and your amiables are people people. They get out there and they mingle, and but they don't like drama. And they don't like, they're helpers. They're like the motherers and the guides. Okay, and then you got a creature out there called the chameleon, and that's the one that jumps to every personality within a flash. You never know where he's coming from, or her. But personalities are a good thing to know when you start building teams. Okay? And you want to know some things about the mind and emotions, where they're coming from, why they are, and what's causing the conflict or the synergy. You want to build your synergy workers up. You want to pair them off with the right people and not the wrong people. Okay? So, you're going to simplify things and systematize everything you possibly can. You want to start your networking. When you start holding meetings, you want to find out their biggest wins for the day and their biggest challenges. Alright? You want to get them knowing about personalities and the natural laws. You want to have a question and answer section, and you want to have monthly meetings with your team, at least. When they're brand new, you want to get them involved weekly. Alright? Remember, location is a real estate thing, but moderation, and association is what you're going to do. You're going to monitor and associate your teams. It's the only way they'll get to going and get this energy and get to growing. Okay, how do we position this? It takes practice. You do it with your testimonies of how you've profit and how they're going to profit. Okay, you're going to have to show results. If people aren't getting the results, they're not going to stick around. Okay, now sometimes this can be monetary right off the bat, and sometimes it can just be emotional or educational results that will hold them until they start making their money. Alright, some of them may never make any money and still stick around for the association or the learning. And it is going to be your job as a leader to figure out who needs what and what keeps them motivated and keeps them incentivized or keeps them going. You're going to have to figure out the right message for the right people at the right time. You're going to have to become your brother's keeper. Yep. For a while anyway, until they get going, especially when they're new. You're going to create that synergy. It can be created. You're going to have to practice, and practice. Get the awareness going. Let people know why they do the things they do sometimes. And teach them not to take things personally. That they're dealing with large volumes of people. They gotta build their thin skin into a little tough skin, get it callous for the word no. They're gonna hear the word no thousands of times before they hear the word yes. Alright? Just because they come on believing as a child does. They have all this faith and desire and hope, and they're thinking they're being honest with themselves, and in the back of their minds, the mind is going da 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 da. They don't know. They get overwhelmed. You're going to have to get them to learning, unlearning, and relearning. It's the active mind has a choice. It chooses and constructs. You got three parts of the mind. Remember, it's always recording, and it's always developing a story, a fact, a truth, a belief, and then it's always sorting those facts, them truths, and them beliefs out. So you got to learn to quiet your mind with meditation, with reading and learning and breathing, and get to growing. Now you're going to find out when you join a network marketing company, you're going to hear all kinds of things from different people who have learned all kinds of things. And you're going to have to put your brain to use, and you're going to have to choose and decide, and you're going to have to grow, and you're going to have to fit in. You're coming in as a square peg trying to get into a round hole. Have to knock the edges off of you and your beliefs, because they're not going to fit with the people you're joining up with. Alright, you're going to have to change that brain to get into this game. You're going to have to stay positive, stay aware, and notice whether you are noticing or whether you are thinking. Alright, this has been Donnie Sinbad the Sailor Man with Poetry, Rights, and Other Stuff. I hope that made a little bit of sense to you. Took me a while to get it. It may take you some time, but your mind is divided. You're a divided spirit, Heaven was a part of 3 different parts which made up a whole. There's 2/3 of heaven that did not fall, and 1/3 of heaven that was cast out by the other 2/3. And where did they go? Now, if you're not a religious or spiritual being, you're going to have to figure things out in a different way. Big Bang, universe feeds you, whatever, the tree, whatever, you know. But I think I'm a religious, batshit crazy Jesus freak, so I'm going to stick to that line of thinking. And you're going to have to learn, unlearn, and relearn what you're thinking. Be aware. Start noticing, pay attention to the details, the little things that make you grow. It is not usually a big thing that is causing you to stay stuck. It is usually a little thing. You're going to have to identify it and dig it out, change it. Just like a computer program, if one bad set of code is in there, the software doesn't work. Same with your brain. Alright, you have an awesome evening, a better tomorrow. God bless. Keep on keeping on. Earn as you learn, grow as you go. Change the brain and get into the game. This is the way to go. This is the new you economy. You are the product. You have to change you and your brain to get into this game. Alright, ta-ta for now. God bless.